Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to paint for you these beautiful zinnias that I picked from my neighbor's garden. My name is Crystal. I'm a watercolor floral artist, and thanks for joining me on this channel. Let's get started straight away. Alright, so this is my little setup of my table where I place everything and where I'm going to be painting the zinnias today. So I have my flowers right in front of me. You can't see in this shot, but it's good to have whatever reference you need, whether it's a book or a flower, just right here on your desk. I've got my 2 cups of water, my paint palette, my little spray bottle. I'm going to spray it down, and for once my palette is somewhat clean. And I'm gonna have my paint brushes that I'll be using today. I think I'll be using this slightly smaller 1/2 inch flat wash. I might also be using my size 6 round, and who knows, I've just got all my favorite brush on standby, my round silver black velvet. I've got my liner, and I won't be using this giant one. I'm not sure why it's here, but probably have handy a size 16 or size 12 round. Okay, yeah. Cool. So looking at these beautiful zinnias here, okay, I'm very inspired by how bright and vibrant they are. Okay, look at that red and that orange, and then I have a yellow one here as well. So taking inspiration from these beautiful curves and petals and the centers, I'm going to just make a simple composition. I'm not going to include the bust. I'm just going to have the zinnias be the heroes and place them all around my page. And I'm going to pick this really vibrant red one as my first one. Grabbing my size 6 round, I'm going to go straight into my little scarlet red here. Forgot to mention that my paper today, I'm using Arches watercolor paper, 300 GSM, cold press. It's one of the best papers you can find. And then reaching into my cadmium yellow, mixing cadmium yellow with a bit of lemon yellow, and going around that deep red center, not touching very much. Trying not to touch too much because it might get a bit too muddy too early. Okay, I'm happy with that center there. Now I'm looking at the petals and I'm just wondering, how am I going to create that petal shape using a round brush? So let's just give it a go. Grabbing some more of that scarlet red and just creating a couple of petals around the center like this. Shorter ones here because the bloom is slightly pointing up that way. And there you have it, that first layer of petals. Okay, it wasn't too hard, wasn't it? I had moments of doubts, I really did, but just kept going. Okay, the second layer of petals, I'm gonna mix a bit of orange this time. And mix up your value. Go a bit of transparent for some of them, as in just washing out the colors and just pulling the color from the previous petal below. And then maybe darkening up with a bit of the orange once again. Ooh. Okay, so I'm just looking at how this flower wants to present itself. I'm going to stop those petals up there and keep going the ones down here because if the flower is facing this way, I'll see more of the side of the flowers. Okay, and then you know yourself, as in you will know how patient you are as a painter. And if you like details, you like going in slow, taking your time, and that is how you derive pleasure from painting, that's wonderful. But if you're a bit impatient like me, then the results will be as you paint, okay? So mine is a bit looser. Not so exact, but you know what? It works for me. Okay, so just stepping back, looking at the shape of my flower and the shape I have here, I think I've added a bit too many petals at the top here, but that's fine. Maybe going in there with a darker carmine, picking like a darker red, and just dropping a bit of that carmine into some of the petals here to create some shadows. Not too much. And then maybe a little bit of dragon's blood right into the center here. So, and then in the little gaps here. Okay, that's gone a bit too bleedy. Just wipe it up. And then we leave it. That's our first zinnia. All right, let's just grab this orange one now. And I'm going to get my gamboge and maybe just do one here. So sometimes you can work with the centers first. Sometimes you can just go straight into a petal. So I don't have a preference of what I like to do and when. It just depends on my mood and depends on what grabs me first. Okay, so for this one here, I wanted to go straight into the petals because this, I don't know, sometimes the centers can be a little long to faff around about, and me being the impatient type, like, I just want to get the petals, want to get to the petals, get to the shape. Ugh. I'm really loving how this orangey one is coming out. I'm mixing my gamboge and cadmium orange, okay, to create a bit of variation in the petals. And then just smaller C curves here at the bottom to represent the bottom petals. Okay, now I'm going into the center, grab a bit of cadmium yellow, and I'm gonna wait before I do a bit of the brown around it. Okay, so I've got two zinnias here. I am loving this one here because it's actually, oh my gosh, so corally. Grabbing my Daniel Smith coral, and I'm gonna do that one just right here. And I'm going to, again, I'm noticing how this one, the petals are less round and more sharp. So it's actually slightly easier for me to go with this round brush. Grabbing a bit of pink. And just going around the center with gentle strokes. washing off pigment between to get a little bit of a lighter hue. And as we go out, the petals get a little bit fatter, fluffier. And then bringing back the coral into the outer petals. Okay. Have a little bit of color harmony. C curves here at the bottom. To show the bottom of the flower. So just nice big zinnia, this one. Going into the middle orange, and we'll do that outer middle in a bit. So take a step back and look at the composition. I feel like this one needs to just go a tad bigger. And is it possible? Why not? Just add more petals, have them touch. Fluffy, fluff, fluff, fluff. Beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna go for the next one, a yellow one, this one. And this one doesn't even have a visible stamen because the stamen's yellow, so I'm just gonna do that stamen here. And it looks like a really big blob of yellow, which might not translate as well to a painting. And as I'm saying that, it's happening. The blob is forming. So mix up a few different variations of this orangey, deep yellow, and play around with the value, with the petal shape to get your flower. So I'm just using gentle strokes of this round brush going around the center here. Okay. Fluff, fluff, fluff. Ah, stunning. Okay, and we've got 4 zinnias. I think we need one more because, you know, odd numbers and all. This one here, another beautiful red one. Let's do that one here. Okay, so my composition is a bit off, but don't worry, maybe we can try to work in some filler flowers later on. Back to that scarlet. Okay, so maybe a nice big, I'm noticing this one's got like larger petals in general. So they're all different varieties here. And sometimes when I see the larger petals, I'm like, phew. Oh. You know, lazy painters like me prefer large, billowy petals. And these small little bits can sometimes be a little bit like, all right, when are we done? When are we done? But it is good to get out of your comfort zone and do stuff that you don't necessarily like to or are drawn to, right? That's how we grow and that's how we push and expand our horizons. going into a little of a sun spot here. Just gonna move my paper a bit. Okay, so we're gonna work on a center, bit of yellow, cadmium yellow. And all right, I'm gonna go back into this flower here and give it a bit of a yellow outline. And then I'm going to go into this flower here, put a bit of burnt umber around the center. Okay. And then a tiny bit of burnt umber around the center here too. Okay. Now we are going to put in the stems. And I've been waiting so long for this bit because this is when it all come together and you can sort of like add any bits more that you feel will help to balance the composition out. So going into my Sap Green and then mixing it a little bit with burnt umber. Just a bit of that scarlet red. Scarlet. Okay, create a nice hue. Okay, just looking at the stem of the zinnia, they're long and the leaves are, you know, a specific shape. So we really want to honor how the plant is like organically. And being true to the stems. Okay, I pulled up 5 stems, have them going in slightly different direction to create a little bit of you know, interest. Grabbing my size 12 round now. Okay, I like to use a bit of a bigger brush for this, for the leaves to have a bit of easier for me to create. Dipping a little bit of that indigo into the leaves here to create some interest and difference in tone of value and color. Don't go overboard with these leaves because the flowers are the hero here. Let's see. I'm quite liking it right now. I'm gonna go back into this flower here and give it a bit of a center. And looking at my reference, the center is actually a nice dark red. So I'm just gonna go in there with a bit of carmine, darken that red too. And I love that the centers of flowers is a focal point for your eyes to land. So take your time to make the center of your flower just the way you want it. Taking a step back, looking at your painting, and I don't know. I think this is where I'm gonna stop today. I'm not sure I want to do another detail, another layer on these zinnias actually. To be honest, this is the second time in my whole life I'm painting zinnias. I mean, I've painted similar flowers like this, like maybe dahlias, ranunculus, but Definitely not zinnias from real life like this, from my neighbor's beautiful garden next door. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. And yes, there you go, zinnia flowers. There we have it, zinnia flowers, which I painted looking at a live reference for once. It is tricky to look at a real live flower or plant to paint from as opposed to a picture or a photograph, because the angles and the composition is not set for you. It really depends where you look at it from. And I'm really pretty pleased with this. It's a very, very soft, dreamy version, very watercolor-esque version of the actual live zinnia flowers. And this time I actually didn't do any layering. I just left it as it is because I think it's got enough as it is. So thank you so much for watching my video till here. If you had painted along with me, it would be wonderful if you left me a comment to see how it went. Like and subscribe to my channel and tag me on Instagram if you do have an art account. Tag me on the painting. I'd love to see your version of it. And then, yep, so that's it. See you in the next video.